Hey guys, Marissa at KitchenTableStamper.com. I've got shortcut card sketch number 16 special edition for you again this week. Last week we could not go live with our shortcut card sketch number 16. This is the official one for our paper sampler and sketch series. So today for our live video, we thought we would do the same shortcut card sketch number 16 special edition, but do it with some sneak peek product, right? So Stampin' Up has got a great new suite available soon. It's for demonstrators. You can pre-order Perfectly Pears, bundle it up with the dies, and also you can pre-order the Painterly Pears designer series paper. The rest of the suite is great. There's a ribbon and an embellishment. Today we're going to make shortcut card sketch number 16 special edition with these sneak peek products. Now, if you're a card club for cool people member, you are going to want to look out for our Perfectly Pears card club. We took it out of the suite entirely, mixed it up with my favorite designer series paper from the online exclusives, the Celebratory Sips. We've got new sketches coming for you in Card Club and an awesome little twist on the pears. All right, so let's get started with our shortcut card sketch number 16 card here. We're gonna do some stamping. I've got early espresso ink and basic white cardstock, and I'm going to stamp a pear, and I'm going to stamp the leaves with early espresso. Now we want to get our inspiration from the pear and the designer series paper. Now I happen to choose some of the lightest patterns out of the Painterly Pears designer series paper to show you kind of a contrast. The patterns themselves are a little bit dark, very heavy on Mossy Meadow. While this dries for a minute before we take Stampin' Blend markers to it, let me just show you the patterns here in this new designer series paper. So this is the one we're using, and then the back side, see, lots of kind of dark Mossy Meadow. So I pulled out the lightest shades to really just show the whole range of colors in this designer series paper today. And then the back side of that petal pink that we're using is one of those big frames. Here's Old Olive and Mossy Meadow Leaf. We're going to use that for one of our pieces. These pears match the dies in the Perfectly Pears. There's another really highly saturated, great masculine pattern here. It's a Secret Sea with Old Olive. It looks like grid. And then the pear montage on petal pink. Here's Darling Duckling and Petal Pink, that same grid. Look at that. Whew, see what I mean? The papers read kind of dark, so I went through and pulled out some of the lightest patterns and mixed them up. We're using 4 different patterns from this. There's one I was missing. There's a Darling Duckling, pear, and then here's our lightest one in the set. So a very interesting, very beautiful new paper pack. This will be available for customers in July, or you can join the kitchenettes and add these products, these sneak peek products, to your starter kit. We'd love to have you on the team. All right, so we've given our early espresso just a little bit to dry. Let's work on our leaves and stem first. My leaves and stem are Old Olive. I've got dark pecan pie and a color lifter, and I'm going to do a little bit of coloring here. I'm going to do Old Olive on these leaves so that I fill the base and then up almost to the edges. So let me show you that a little closer. And then we're going to take the dark Old Olive, get a shadow at the base, go up the center and fill that space where the artist left, and scribble almost to the Old Olive. Then we'll bring the light and dark Old Olive together, scribble that in, and almost to the edge. We want to leave a little highlight there, and where the light Old Olive and the white highlight edge come together, I'm gonna put a little bit of color lifter. Now this kind of brings out the blue pigments, softens the green edge and blends it into the white, but it also brings out the blue pigments in the Old Olive. So I'm gonna go back with the light Old Olive and just add a little bit more ink over top. So you can see we've got those highlights. We didn't color every last bit. And then we're gonna go back and darken up our shadows a little bit, because a highlight isn't as powerful as a highlight can be if you blend the shadows away to medium. So there's our leaf. And then for the stem, I'm going to color just straight, no blending, dark pecan pie. Now the pear is where things get really interesting, because we are going to blend Darling Duckling, Petal Pink, and Calypso Coral to get that pear, and then we're going to stamp over with some pecan pie. All right, so let's see. Got you in a good close view. Let's color this pear. We're going to start with the light Darling Duckling, and I'm going to color about half my pear, but we're looking to really keep that center line from being a straight line. So big circular strokes, and then we don't want a straight half, right? Then we're gonna get light Petal Pink, and we're going to fill the rest of the pear with light Petal Pink and really soften that Darling Duckling edge. All right, so we've got the Darling Duckling edge, and it's starting to blend the pink tones to the gold tones. I'm gonna grab my dark Darling Duckling, and I'm gonna bring a shadow around the edge here. Now the pear rolls around away from us, right? So that's why this is gonna be your darkest concentration here around this edge that is moving further away from the eye as you go kind of around the shape of the pear. So we've got that. Now we're going to put aside Darling Duckling. We might not need them back. And we're going to pick up a little bit of dark Petal Pink here. And we're going to start building up from the Petal Pink into the Calypso Coral with some dark Petal Pink. Moving to light Calypso Coral, and we'll kind of finish up, but we don't want any straight edge lines. We want to keep a nice abstract edge, a very organic edge, and we're going to go very lightly along the early espresso. Now you're building up so much ink here, and that's okay, but I'll tell you, when I blend with this much color and this much ink, sometimes I blow out the line, and that's okay, because we can fussy cut it if it blows out, if it seeps out from the edge. Now we're gonna really wet the light Calypso Coral, and then we're gonna scribble in some dark Calypso Coral. Go underneath the navel of the fruit there, and go back with our light Calypso Coral to bring the light and the dark together here. And this is where I use the most ink, because light Calypso Coral and dark Calypso Coral are both Calypso Coral, but the shade difference between the two is there's such a jump in the shade from one to the other that we got to work a little bit to bring the light and the dark together smooth. So another way that you can bring light and dark together is by taking the light and using the tip of the light marker on the tip of the dark marker to bring some of that dark onto the light, and it gives you almost a medium shade then which makes it easier to bring those two together so that you can see the gradation of the color of the monochromatic without seeing a jump from one shade to the other. That's what you want. You want to kind of get a grade from one shade to the other that's subtle. And that's a good way to do it with this point-to-point blending. All right, so I feel like we've got our Calypso Coral. Now, when you've done a point-to-point blending, you just want to scribble off and make sure that the darker color has completely come off the tip of your lighter marker. So just scribble until it's all light again. Now, to bring everything together smoothly, I've got my light petal pink, and I'm going to just kind of run back over some of the Darling Duckling, some of the Calypso Coral, just bring it all together and soften out the blending of all those colors. And there is our pear. Now let's grab our Designer Series paper here and just take a look at the paper that inspired that pear. There it is. I think we did pretty good there. Let's finish it up with a quick bit of stamping. All right, I've got my pecan pie stamping pad and the little speckly image from the Perfectly Pears stamp set, and I'm going to add a little pecan pie over my darkest bumblebee. Bumblebee wannabe. Darling Duckling. Anybody else have those colors that you just can't get the name right no matter how hard you try? Yeah, Darling Duckling is mine right now. I just keep calling it Bumblebee. And then when I catch myself calling it Bumblebee, I correct myself and call it Bumblebee Wannabe. All right, so I'm gonna fussy cut because you can see a little bit there. This one's really good compared to the first time I did this technique. But you can see right here a little bit the ink blew out because we've just really saturated the paper. Look at how much we've saturated the paper. That's how you're supposed to do alcohol marker coloring. And so we've saturated the paper and it blew out the edge a little bit there. So instead of trying to clean it up with a color lifter, I'm gonna just cut it out right on the line with a little fussy cutting. I'm also gonna fussy cut the leaves. There are dies for these, and you can absolutely die cut. We die cut every single pear in Card Club samples, and it looks great too. But this is gonna give you kind of an artsy finish without that white edge that sometimes looks a little bit more crafty than artsy, and it's going to clean up any place that you blew out the line. I've got my little leaves already done here, and we can set them aside for a minute while we've got a nice open space. Let's grab our Cane Weave 3D embossing folder. This one is on last chance right now with Stampin' Up. You can pick it up while supplies last. It was $10. It is now on last chance sale for $6. Wait till you see this embossing folder. It has got a lot of punch. Got soft seafoam card base. I'm going to emboss my whole card base. If you don't like doing this, I understand, because you are going to put your folder at a little bit of a risk as you run it through the machine with the fold to the side. You want to be very careful not to grate that fold off your folder. I feel like I say it every time, but the one time I don't say it, I'm afraid somebody will have an embossing accident. So if you don't like to do this technique, just grab a piece of soft seafoam cardstock that's like 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 or 4 by 5 1/4. Emboss that, and then you can stick it onto your card front. And that is the cane weave. Isn't that Like that's got some punch. That is such a deep emboss. The texture is fantastic. Now let's grab our shortcut card sketch and get this card started, right? Okay. So A is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and we've got our card base here, soft seafoam. We've embossed it. B is designer series paper for our card. This is 1.5 by 3. C is 2 by 3 3/4 on our special edition. Then D, any shape of your choice. I used this rectangle with the pretty edges, this label. It's this one here. It's from the Grow with Love dies, and this Grow with Love dies is last chance right now. Let's move on to E, which is 1/2 by 3. I've got the Olive and Mossy Meadow. And F, which is 3/4 by 3. I've got the Mossy Meadow backside of this one. G is any shape of your choice. So for G, I have this little fishtail banner, or chicken lips, we like to call it around here. This banner with the chicken lips, and I got that one from the birthday celebration dies. All right, let's go ahead and glue these down. Where is my fast fuse? I still have a bit of fast fuse. I'm holding on, Nancy. I'm holding on. If you don't follow me regularly, I found the fast fuse. Well, Jen and Joyce found the fast fuse in the closet, and there was still some adhesive in it. And I was so excited because it's my favorite. And then Nancy sent me a refill. So I used up the one that was in the closet. And now I am working my way through the refill. It is my favorite. I wish it would come back. I don't know. It's was a little persnickety, I guess, for some people, but I love it. I love it. If you've got some still and you want to get rid of it, reach out, Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com. Maybe we could make a little barter or a trade, because I'd buy it off you. I'm really enjoying using it again. I missed it. All right, we've got our last couple little layers here. I want to see a bit of that white label, just a pop of white underneath it. Let's get this guy to finish up our, there we go. We're getting there, right? Okay, this has had a little bit to dry, so let's grab a touch of liquid glue and we're gonna apply the stem. Uh-oh, my bottle needs a refill. And if you saw me live today, I still haven't cleaned the boogers off it's a little sticky, but there's that. Let that dry for a minute. Grab Hey. So Hey is from the Charming Day bundle. If you're a card club for cool people members, we talked about the pears. They're coming in July. In August, we're going to do some fun with the new Halloween products from Stampin' Up. In September, we're going to use Charming Day bundle outside the suite. Again, we're not using our Perfectly Pear or our Charming Day inside the suite. We're getting a little creative with it. And then we went through September. October will be Peace on Earth products. They were available to demonstrators only for Creativity Now. So just a little heads up for our card club people. All right, I want to show you a couple of die cuts. I need one little bit still. Hang on, I'm going to get some basic beige scrap because I can. I'm going to grab my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss since I've got the big machine set up with 1 and 4. Let's just grab this little guy. I love this little guy. I don't use them for videos nearly enough, but when the studio gets busy around here and we're really hopping, sometimes we've got no room on the counters and so much going on, and so I'll grab my little mini and I can get the job done in this tiny little space. Or if I want to go somewhere, the mini's great too. All right, so the die that we're using is from Perfectly Pear, and this little strip is gonna cut some little basic beige flowers. And we need 4 of them. It cuts 5 at a time, I believe. And there it is. Aren't they cute? They're the perfect little embellishments. And let me pop those off of there and show you the other things that I have prepared ahead. I have some die cuts and a punch waiting for me here. All right, see you later, little guy. All right, from the same Perfectly Pear die set, I have a branch. Then I cut with a scrap just the end of the branch. This is Mossy Meadow cardstock, and we do not need this much branch on these leaves. So there, we'll trim that off. Then with our Darling Duckling, aka Bumblebee Wannabe, I punched a little flower and used the Petal Park Builder punch. This is also on last chance. It was $24, $16.80 the last time I looked. So every time Stampin' Up! Refreshes the last chance sale, prices can be dropped. There can be deeper discounts on those items. So if my prices are wrong, I'm sorry, but as of this morning, they were still in stock. By the time you see this video, I don't know, but we're gonna cup our flower. And when I cup the flower, I just use the capped end or putty end of the Take Your Pick tool and the Stampin' Pierce mat. When you press down, it brings all the petals up, sinks the center, and gives you a more realistic flower kind of shape. I just use a drop of liquid glue on the back of one of those little flowers, and now the flower that we're making is also inspired by the Designer Series paper. So I'm gonna add a little texture dot to the center and give that a little press, make sure it's secure. This here is a little flower in the paper, so it's more like a beige yellow brown instead of a yellow beige brown, but I do love how you can get the inspiration right out of the Designer Series paper for all the little elements of our card. Next, I want to show you something really cool. This is a brand new ribbon. It's coming for customers in July. You can add it to starter kits. If you want to join Stampin' Up! In June, you can add this to your starter kit. This is called Braided Trim, and it is petal pink. I unbraided it and then cut one of the strands off. Then I'm going to take that little strand that I cut off and I'm going to tie it up in a bow. And it's like linen thread, but it's got more of a rustic kind of shaggy texture and a beautiful petal pink color. So you can use the braided trim as it is braided, or go ahead and cut it up and do something a little unexpected. All right, let's cut the tails off of that just a little bit. I've got some glue dots, and I'm going to take a glue dot and I'm going to put my leaf on the glue dot. See a little stem spot there. I'm going to put my flower on a glue dot. Then I'm going to sandwich those. Now I've got one pick and stick element. Going to roll up the next glue dot. Just use my pick end of the Take Your Pick tool. Roll it up and put the little bow on there. So now I got a sticky bow. Put that on top of hay. Hey, I can't even help it, you guys. I had to have the Charming Day bundle because the dies are awesome. The dies are awesome. Just absolutely amazing. But as far as the stamps go, they're okay. I like them. I love the dies, but the hay word, I love that hay. Let me show you that again. So there's a hay. I like you made my day. Happy birthday. Thanks for being you. Very good. We're going to have some fun coloring this one up in Card Club. A little different color palette, taking it outside the suite. But the dies are the thing to see with this Charming Day. All right, let's go ahead and get some dimensionals on the back of our pear and our hay. and get that on the card. Okay, we also need a little liquid glue just on the stem all the way to the end here, because we're going to add some dimensional behind some of the leaves to give the branch some interest. It's going to go straight across our white space. Add the pear, and I'm going to lift this little leaf right here, tuck my pear under it, and then hay. Where's our little pick and stick flower? Here it is. Add the flower back on and puff it up again. Cute! Now I've got a few more of these little beige flowers here. I'm going to just add glue to my card. I'm going to make a little triangle. One dot here at the bottom of the pear. And then one here, right on the designer paper. And then I'm going to pick these little die cuts up and add them where we put that little drops of glue. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh my gosh. All right. Don't shortcut the process here. I got one stuck to my finger. All right. So the secret is take your pick tool apart. I tried to shortcut. You take your pick tool apart, then you can hold down the little element while you take the putty away. And it is pretty important. It'll make your life easier if you just take it apart. All right, then hold it with the other end of the take your pick tool and then remove the putty. It doesn't keep sticking to your finger then. So cute. Now we need a couple more of these adhesive back texture dots. Love the texture dots. They are part of the sale that's going on right now. Anything that was ever part of a suite. All the suites are buy one, get one half off right now. So these little texture dots, they surprised me. I forgot that they were part of a suite when they came out, but I love them. One of my favorite embellishments from Stampin' Up! In recent history. Really love these. Where do I want these other guys? I don't know, I did it different on these two samples. Let's look at that. I'm dingle challenged, so why recreate the dingle wheel? Okay, those two I put off that way. On the other two I put the other way. Okay, I'm gonna go with this one. See, I had choices that I already choose your own adventure, but I already figured out the adventure. Why do it twice, right? All right, there it is, you guys. That is Shortcut Card Sketch number 16, Special Edition. The Special Edition is the one for our paper sampler and sketch series participants. So if you were part of our paper sampler and sketch series, you've got that sketch, access to that sketch. If you're not and you want to get the Shortcut Card sketches, buzz over to the blog, kitchentablestamper.com, and you'll find currently 16 public Shortcut Card sketches. A great place to just jump in and get crafting. Cut up the paper, know you're going to have success. Follow the sketch a little bit or a lot, your choice. And yeah, those are all there free for you to download and print. For today's project, for today's cards project sheet, just click in the description below where it says project details. Click here. It'll take you to the blog, and just scroll down to the embedded video. Underneath, you'll see a button that says today's project sheet. You can click that and you'll get a free PDF download with the instructions for this card. Right below that, you'll see another button that says Wonder Recipe number 16. Click that one and you can collect the Wonder Recipe 16 sketch too. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.